Hi, my name is Amanda. I'm 33 years old, and before this year, I've never actually voted in a presidential election. Shocking, right? Well, before you go calling me irresponsible or apathetic, I think there's a couple of things you should know. First, in the same 15 years I've been eligible to vote, I've lived in at least 5 different states and probably 3 times that many addresses. And secondly, probably more importantly, for every 10 people you find my age, at least 5 of them are going to be just like me. You see, the problem isn't that we're politically apathetic or irresponsible, or at least most of us. The problem is that the established system for voting in this country isn't conducive to young people or younger voters. For most of us, turning 18, the legal voting age, brings change. We graduate from high school, we become adults, and whether for school, work, or travel, we move. We may stay in a place for a time or move several times within the same area. And this pattern can easily take us through our first adult decade until we find the people, places, and things that cause us to settle down for the long haul. The established system for voting in our country favors those who do just that, settle down. Currently, in order to vote in a major election, you must be registered in the county you live in. This registration, based on your address, determines where you're allowed to cast your ballot, and must be done far in advance of the actual election. Here's the first problem. Let's take my case, for example. In the 2004 election, I was actually registered to vote. Can you guess why I didn't actually vote? I was registered in a county and state that was a couple thousand miles away from where I'd recently moved. Even if I could have taken time off work or school on a Tuesday, my vote would have been as useless as a dangling Chad. This is the second problem. Young people my age are busy. Many of us work multiple jobs and or go to school. How realistic is a Tuesday timeout trip to the neighborhood library or elementary school? Does waiting in lines and actually punching holes in a paper legitimize our votes in some way? Those of us who are registered probably did it at a time we received our driver's license. Since those can be valid from anywhere from 2 to 12 years, depending on where you live, what do you think the odds are that we would again take time out to revisit the Department of Motor Vehicles for a registration form each and every time we change addresses? I don't know about you all, but I'd call this problem number 3. The U.S. Census Bureau gathered some voting statistics at the time of the November 2004 election, and according to their data, the voting rate was higher among the older citizen population than the younger citizen population. The rate for the older citizens over age 55 was 72%, and for young people, just 47%. They go on to say that the key difference between these age groups was registration. There's that first problem again. While 79% of the older citizens were registered, only 55% of the younger ones were. The U.S. Bureau explains that by stating that young people, especially those in their 20s, are more transient, which might lead to lower levels of registration, especially when it requires re-registering. Sounds like I figured it out. So, I propose a solution that's logical, practical, and whose time is way overdue. There is one thing that young people are unarguably proficient with, and that's the internet. Think about it. Our generation's communication is defined by it. We buy, sell, and research things on it every day. This is the most often where we get our news, and most likely our political information. Even the self-proclaimed #1 contributor to the rise and participation of young voters in the 2004 election did so via online promotion. That website, rockthevote.com, was the center for their campaign of the same name, whose sole purpose was to empower younger voters. It features web links, articles, candidate information, and politically based blogs by young people. Why has this technology never been applied to voting itself? Call me crazy, but I think this is solution number 1. The most notable The most notable opposition to this argument is that we cannot be completely assured of the security, confidentiality, and accuracy of the voting process if it's done via an online voting system. Stories of web security hackers abound, and the media and software companies are constantly developing new software to combat this problem. Identity theft and other internet-based crimes seem to be at an all-time high. While this fact remains a legitimate concern, it should not be the basis for not even attempting to modify the current system, especially when we've successfully implemented similar progress with other highly guarded information. I mean, we check our bank accounts, file our taxes, pay our bills, and survey our credit reports online. All of these activities require efficient, high-level security measures to protect our privacy and personal information, and yet they're convenient and accessible due to modern-day technology. Now, if only we could get our government officials' attention. Perhaps we could start an online campaign. Pick your favorite candidates and email them this message. If this were a web ballot, you would have just received my vote. How many votes can a system for online voting be worth to you? Then just sit back and watch your inbox. Forget registration, moving, the DMV, and the Tuesday library visit. This is 2008, people. We should be able to bookmark vote.com while we're still young and make our voices, or should I say our mouse clicks, heard.